Capricorn, this is the second time I'm attempting your reading. The first reading came through and it had the message that I feel you need to hear, but it was lacking a little bit of depth, I feel. So we're going to go in again. And as I sat with your energy in between the last reading and this reading, I was meditating and trying to figure out what is this depth that I know is there, but we didn't access. And it has to do with a fear space. It's a fear space that you've either navigated through recently, or you're currently navigating through, or you're being asked to navigate through. This fear, this shadow space that's within you, that's around us, that's in other people, the collective shadow. There's something very significant about tapping into that energy and accessing its wisdom in order to provide depth, not just to this message, but also to what it is that you feel and what it is that you think in your spiritual journey and how you're receiving these messages, and also messages from yourself, from your higher self. Because there's a huge opportunity here. I know Tarot says that all the time, but this is what's coming through. I actually got between 6 days and 6 weeks, so there's some specificity for you. There's an opportunity coming through, a portal, and it's something that you've been thinking about, focusing on from your head to your hand, I was getting. So it's coming into actuality, and Spirit wants you to really tap into the significance of this manifestation. And in order to tap into the significance of it, and maybe even recognize that it is your manifestation when it comes through, is to access this shadow space. Okay, so I'm not exactly sure what that entails or what that means just yet. We're going to pull out some more cards and see. But in your supportive energy, this is what came out in the last reading, was the shadow, the venom, and the mystic. And while I talked about this pretty intently and how amazing it is to have this as your supportive energy of what you're in alignment with, we seem to have been skirting around what actually lies at the center of the shadow space, what constructs the shadow space, and that is fear. So fear is it can be felt as an instinct, and it can tell us to get out of a jam or get out of a dangerous situation when we need to, and it's a good guide in that sense. But then there's also fear that keeps us stuck, that keeps us trapped, that keeps us doing the so-called safe thing, when in all actuality, if we kept staying in the safe thing or being comfortable with something that isn't serving us just because we don't feel fearful of it, we would lack growth in our life. And we're not about to live in a lack mindset here. Okay, we're here for abundance. We're here for the abundance matrix. The matrix that gives and gives and gives. That brings in what we want. And I feel like Spirit wants you to know how powerful you are, and that you can go into the shadow to find out, first and foremost, what your fear is, to look it in the face and integrate it, meaning bring it into the light and start to heal that fear. Healing is how we integrate the shadow. So I don't know what this fear is for everyone, and maybe this isn't making total sense to you yet, or maybe it won't, and that's cool too. Don't worry about it if it doesn't. But when the mystic, the venom, and the shadow show up as what you're in alignment with and what's here to support you in this current moment, this is pretty profound. And it's a message that really can't be ignored. There is divine wisdom, knowledge, truth, clarity, and open spiritual path that can only be found once we go into the shadow, our own shadow. And going into the shadow can be scary because our shadow bites. Our shadow bites others, and our shadow often bites ourselves. Sometimes these bites are venomous, toxic to our system. The shadow is a space where we put parts of ourselves that we're ashamed of or that we feel don't have a place to grow in this world. And we keep them repressed, hidden, down there. And so they start to act out. They start to bite because they want to be seen, these beautiful parts of ourselves that we've said are no good, or somebody else has said is no good. So they strike out. They sabotage our relationships. They sabotage our work environments. They sabotage our soul and what we're thinking. Because they just want to be seen. They just want to be heard. They just want to be healed and integrated. And Spirit's saying, that's your mystic power right now. So I got a whole bunch of other messages. And I also got some other cards here. So we'll pull out your challenge and some more tarot. But I want to keep this in the forefront of our mind. So I'm actually going to write this down. Shadow right here. And fear. Because it's easy for us in spirituality, or when we're talking about metaphysics or intuition or archetypes, it's easy for us to slip away and slip into this esoteric realm, into this imaginal space where everything's amazing and unfolding and mysterious. It's easy to slip away into that zone and forget what's actually holding us back, what's actually anchoring us into this dense energy in which we feel trapped or in which we feel stuck in some way. And so we have to remember to keep going back to those places as we work through our spiritual ascension, so that we can bring that part of us along, so that we can heal those parts and integrate them on our path. So maybe some of you are listening to super positive messages all the time, all this love and light, doing a little bit of spiritual bypassing your pain, bypassing the shadow, bypassing the fear, because it feels good, because it's interesting, because it gives you hope. And there's nothing wrong with hope, not at all. But we have to deal with reality too. And if anybody's going to do that best, it's you, Capricorn. You deal with the realm of reality. And so let's not disassociate and forget the fears that exist within us. And we all have fear to one level or another. Maybe we don't. I don't know. I think we probably all do have fears. Everybody has a shadow. Everybody. And the reason we all have a shadow, no matter how much we're meant to heal it and integrate it, the reason why we'll always have a shadow, even like the most spiritually ascended people, is because the shadow is useful. The shadow can help us deal with other people's shadows out in the world. When we come across darkness in others, or we come across somebody lashing out and being venomous and venomous and trying to bite us, a toxic entity, we have our own shadow to pull on to protect us. Okay? We can consciously use aspects of our shadow in a way that serves the highest good of all. So this is why the shadow exists and why it's useful. So spirituality is about integration, it's about balance, it's about harmonizing and alchemizing the light and the dark together. And this is what Spirit's wanting you to do right now. See, we have that light and dark here in the shadow card. And in the mystic card, we have this sense of wholeness, transformation, completion in the light and the dark. Being able to see clearly in the dark spaces and in the light spaces. So the other cards that I got for you are skywriting the fates and deep intuition. So Spirit is saying that there's a path opening up for you. That big opportunity I was talking about. And I have to say, Capricorn, this path feels very straightforward. There's something about this path where it's like you put one foot in front of the other and things just keep unfolding. It's like building blocks here. There's a foundation, you put another block on top, another block, and it gets you to where you want to go. It's pretty straightforward. And isn't that such a relief? Isn't that so nice to have a straightforward path opening up for you? But when that happens, we have this beautiful opportunity. It's pretty straightforward. It's everything that we've been wanting to manifest. but we've spent so much time in the past navigating through chaotic spaces. What can happen is our shadow can come up and say, this is too good to be true. Don't trust this path. Don't trust this person. Don't go this way. Don't be creative in the way that makes you feel vulnerable. Don't do that thing. You're going to get hurt. And those are those wounded aspects speaking to you. They're fearful of what might happen if you jump in full force, if you put 2 feet into your new path. They're scared. So if you have any doubts about something that's looking really good for you, this is what's going on. It's your shadow talking to you. But Spirit is telling me that you have a good grasp on this concept already, that you might be able to see something for what it is, your own fears, blocking you, getting in the way, telling you that the path that Spirit has laid out is not the path, that's the shadow. So there's something you're going to need to take a chance on, and it might make you feel a little bit uncomfortable, might make you feel like you don't know where you're going. But as you continue to go down this path, this new opportunity, or maybe you're already on the path, it makes more and more and more sense to you. I got the message that you're being initiated into the next level. And then I got this card, Deep Intuition. So a next level of intuition. I also got an image of a stag, which is symbolic of protection and spiritual authority. So you have a lot going for you right now, Capricorn. Don't ignore your fear. Don't let fear control you either. Acknowledge it for what it is. Then ask yourself, why am I fearful? What is it that I'm thinking is going to happen? And figure out where that's coming from within you, so you can begin to heal that and not let it hold you back. So let's see what the challenge is, if that's a support. Let's see what the challenge is for Capricorns. I also got the initials GD, RAC, number 4230, and then I heard something about Order of the Rose. So there's something here that maybe you're literally being initiated into a new career path and a relationship, but it's part of your spiritual growth. I also feel like you're accessing some new knowledge, or maybe you're researching something new, or you're being downloaded with new knowledge, like you're receiving downloads. And it's important that you're able to listen to what your intuition says about this information that you receive without fear telling its own story about what it is that you learn. Maybe some of you are going to learn a secret, a truth about a situation, and your fear self is going to pop in and kind of mess with the reality of what's going on. Interesting. The orphan, the eternal child. Got some on the floor here. We have the bardo, the riddle, the ring, the king, and the threshold. Wow, Capricorn, this is a big moment for you, okay? This is a big time for you. So honor it, respect it. At some point in your life, you felt not good enough, unwanted. This happens to most of us. Abandoned. Okay? And that experience here, it created some energy, it created some karma, perhaps, that you've been working with throughout your life. This experience of being abandoned in some sense, maybe emotionally, physically, however, financially, however you feel abandoned, it created some energy that's just turned into knots and turned into a riddle. So it's like you're constantly trying to figure out what's missing here, or why did this happen, or why are people like this with me, or why is the world like this? and it feels like you can't get to the right answer, or you can't feel satisfied with something because of this knot that this abandonment caused within you, turning reality into a riddle. The answer to the riddle is your fear. And maybe if this is about love for you, it could be about somebody else's fears too. But Spirit is really showing me clearly in these two cards that there's a wound here that has just been kind of mucking things up in your mind, telling you something's unattainable or out of your hands, and maybe even subconsciously telling you this. 1555, that's about to change. The portal, the opportunity, the path that's clearly laid out has never been closed off to you though. Despite this riddle, despite this ongoing karmic contract or shadow contract, whatever, however you want to say it, this wound, and how it manifests in your relationships and your work situations, etc. Despite it like going round and round in your life, and it seems to come back around all the time, the portal remains open. Spirit's not closing that door on you. The bardo here is a liminal space. It's a space of the in-between. It's right before you cross the threshold. And this is where things have been for some time. Something about green coming through. I got that here too. Maybe green eyes or just green in general. I'm hearing initiate. The green lion swallowing the sun. So when the green lion swallows the sun, this is putting your, the king, this is about putting your ego in check as well, and realizing that some of your fears are coming from an ego space. Or perhaps you realize that the wound you have is an ego wound, and congratulations, those are easier to deal with than soul wounds. At least I think so. One second. Yeah, I'm sensing this frustration. It's like hitting a wall here in the bardo. Hitting a wall, wanting to cross the threshold. But I feel like you haven't really known what the threshold is. You haven't really known which door to open. Like everything seems like knotted in knots. In a little bit of a bind, a mess here. But Spirit is saying the path is clear. Perhaps you need to ask yourself what the eternal child in you wants over and above the adult ego that you've developed. And we've all developed an ego, and the ego is not bad. It's not bad at all. But sometimes the ego can overshadow the eternal child that lives within us. And the eternal child wants to create, wants to play, wants to show up as authentically as they are, wants connection, to operate in the frequency of love. And the king energy, when it's in the shadow, wants power, control, status, authority. So perhaps for some of you, there's a conflict here between the shadow king and the eternal child that lives within you. Okay, and these are archetypes. I'm using the archetype deck. And these archetypes can live within us all. Okay, it's not just you personally. It's like, you know, this something to think about. Now, when the green lion swallows the sun, That sun representing the I am, the ego, the identity. When it swallows it, it becomes the king. Because the true king knows when they're ruling from a place of ego versus a place of soul. And sometimes, like I said, we need to rule with our ego. Sometimes we do live in this world where that is necessary. But the true king also knows when to rule with the eternal child, the mystic energy. So there's something about that that's coming through for you, Capricorn. Masculine energy is very important for you right now. And I was thinking about this actually the other day because I come across a lot of talk about the dark feminine, and how powerful she is, but I don't really ever come across the same kind of tonality when it comes to the dark masculine. So what is the dark masculine? If we revere the dark feminine in the way that we do, we being people out here in spiritual spaces, as a force of creation, and the subconscious and intuition, then what is the dark masculine? And why don't we ever talk about him? And so maybe that's the part of you that you need to connect with, the dark masculine within you. The mystic, the shadow, the venom. Who is he? Because like I said, the parts of us that we ignore and we push to the shadow space, they come out and they bite us. They strike out because they want to be acknowledged. They want to be heard. So I don't know who the dark masculine is in you or in, well, do I know who it is in myself? Maybe a little bit. I could do some more work there, I'll admit. But maybe this is where our deep intuition comes in. What does your dark masculine want? Well, let's find out. Ooh, wasn't expecting to go here, but this is where we got to take that leap of faith and get out of our comfort zone. Not be fearful to explore things that maybe we're unfamiliar with. Not to fear the dark masculine. Just like we don't want to fear the dark feminine. And when I say dark, I don't mean negative in any way, okay? I just mean another polarity to light. The light and the dark. Dark is a space of creation. Judgment, awakening. I'm noticing the dark wings right away. What is the dark masculine? It's an awakening. It's taking control of your path, of your destiny. It's realizing that what's in your head can be in your hand. And not letting fear interfere. Interesting how that word's kind of in there. Phonetically anyways. Not letting fear interfere with your better judgment that you can control your path, your destiny, your life. That all does not need to be a riddle. That's just a wound. And so there's a dark masculine energy that wants to show you a clear path. And this dark masculine has deep intuition. Tell me more about the dark masculine. Thanks for opening this portal, Capricorn. I got the message too. You're going to realize your transcendental magic. Maybe this is part of the dark masculine. The Hermit and the Queen of Swords. Ooh, the Star. Look how powerful the dark masculine is. Of course, showing up with feminine energy already integrated within. You know, there's polarities, light and dark, but then within every dark, there's also light, the yin and the yang. So when we speak of a feminine energy in its highest polarity, it always already has masculine energy within it. And same with the masculine, always already has feminine energy within it. Interesting. Queen of Swords. Queen of Swords is the feminine energy within the dark masculine. The Star. There's a brutal truth that wants to come through. A brutal truth that you already know. You already have it inside of you. But for some reason, you don't want to lay it out on the table. Maybe it's how you feel about something. Maybe it's a regret you have. Well, let's actually look into what that brutal truth is. But it is the key. It's what allows you to pry apart these energies that have been keeping you in knots here. Like pry that open to really see that path, to go through that portal. That path, I keep seeing it. It's just so clear. It's like Spirit saying, Capricorn, this is the path. This is the path. And the shadow's like, I don't know. Maybe it's over there. And it's like the dark masculine's coming in with the sword of truth and saying, cutting that away and being like, no, we're going to go down the clear path. We're not going to keep questioning. We're cutting the riddle out. We're following our destiny. The star. We're following the star. And where is the star? It's not out there in La La Land. The star is within. The hermit is holding the star in his lantern, looking at it. This is the insight, the enlightenment, the wisdom, the clarity, the fates that he's found within himself. He's realized that he holds all of the answers within himself. So much so that he's been able to take what's within and put it without him, without outside, as within, so without. Take it without, put it in the external world and look at it, his manifestation of his soul, of himself. This is about realizing your own power and control and not giving it away to anything. This is the truth. The brutal truth is that and it is brutal. The brutal truth is that the answers are within you. The brutal truth is that everything you want, you can create. And why is that a brutal truth? Because it requires you going into the shadow and dissolving the fears that are telling you that what you want and what you seek are outside of yourself, in someone else or in something else, when it's not at all. Let's see. Let's see what that path is for you. Wow, Capricorn, this reading blew my mind. Thank you. You are on another level, whoever I'm tapping into today. What's this open path? The open path for Capricorn. Strength. The green lion. Courage. Strength. Ruling. I'm hearing rulership. Ruling your reality, your world, with your heart and your mind, and not through any entity of fear, demolishing all that by integrating aspects of your aspects of your shadow. Maybe some of you need to cleanse, literally. This is so beautiful. Number 8. The fates. Wow, I'm kind of speechless, Capricorn. Let's see. Well, I don't know. I think think we should leave it there. I'm going to pull another oracle card just to close it. But I'm going to go into an extended. I have no idea what's going to go on in the extended. But if you'd like to go to that with me, the link is in the description box below. If you don't want to or you can't, then just trust that this is the message. I feel like this was a big one. If it didn't connect with you, that's okay. Maybe it connected intuitively and not so much logically right now or rationally. That's okay. But you just opened a door for me with the dark masculine. And I hope that I've opened a door with you to the dark masculine, because he's showing us a clear path to awakening. Whew. Okay, let's close this reading out, Spirit. Thank you for that. Dancing on one foot, balancing act. See? It's about balancing the dark and the light, the masculine and the feminine. I'm hearing, that's from another deck, 80 and cross. Light masculine, light feminine, dark masculine. 4. Interesting. Okay, number 9. Balancing act, resourcefulness, saying yes to life. When dances on one foot shows up, you are called to find a new balance. Just as a dancer moves gracefully into each pose, no matter how precariously balanced a step might seem, you must bring equanimity to the situation before you, no matter how thorny or difficult a relationship seems. I got that Order of the Rose. If you are putting too much effort into managing your life, work, relationship, family, and digital media, you are missing the point. You have to be dancing while juggling your entire life, knowing that at any one time, half of it is going to be up in the air. It's not that you're doing too much and find it impossible to catch up. Rather, it's that you are confusing readiness with preparation. You will never, ever be fully prepared for all the challenges in life, but you will be ready to say yes to a new invitation the universe offers you. Live in a state of yes to spirit and no to everything not infused with life, romance, vitality, and the sacred. You will be surprised by how quickly your load lightens when you hold true to this lesson. You are challenged now to work with the resources available to you and not be seduced by the belief, if I only had more. That comes from fear. Life has provided you with everything you need to accomplish your goals and fulfill your mission. The Hermit within, right? It's all there. When it feels like you are losing your balance, do not contract, holding your arms close to your chest, for you will fall. Instead, reach out and extend them fully, saying yes to Spirit's steady hand. It's in your hand, Capricorn. I love you so much. I'll see you next time.